past them at high speed through turn 1. Of course, if somebody else was to come off there, it would be a disaster. So here's a replay. I think we'll get to see what happened here, Dave.
As you say, Enger had made a fantastic start, hadn't he? And there, well, that's
I think it was actually two separate entries.
Tuna there, he got turned around, didn't he? And then the resultant.
I think they were possibly spinning separately. I think Tuna definitely got a third from behind there from the red car there, which sent him around.
And
then the Alleman one was a slightly separate incident, I think.
So the very early stages of this race, not even one lap completed, and a safety car out.
Christopher Gerhard, wasn't it, the red car, the red Porsche, which was triggered all of that off, I think. And then this was a separate incident. Yeah. Christopher Zoschling, second in the championship, going off. I think that was while we were looking at the replay of the first corner incident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he's buried in the gravel as well, so that's a big name. It looks like he's out, unless he can get the car out of the gravel and join the back of the pack behind the safety car.
Well, we're back with live pictures now. Cars following the safety car now, and Riberas is going to have to do it all over again, isn't he? I really thought that on the run up to turn 2 that Earl Bamber might have him, but Riberas stood firm on the inside line, and it was just at that point, wasn't it, that the safety car was called for. Van der Laar in now as well.
Yeah, and Christopher Gerhard went in at the same time. He was involved in that first corner incident, and Christopher Zoschling has not come past the commentary box, so I think he's still probably stuck in the gravel. Changing one of the Michelin tyres there. The slipshod Porsche will be sent back out. And of course, because the safety car's out, he's not going to lose any positions here or get back onto the pack before long before they get round, I think, for the restart, if indeed that's even going to be on this lap.
Well, some explanations going on there from Gerhard, whose race is done and dusted, isn't it?
Looked like the back end of his car snapped away under braking, which then sent him into the back of Fabian Tuna.
I just wonder if he got one wheel on the grass, you know, on
Possibly.
that run up to turn 1. Perhaps we'll see from this replay.
Watch for the number 18 red Porsche.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, absolutely right, Dave. He was on the grass. So he said, yeah, it snapped away from me. Oh, well, that's because you're on the grass when you were braking. He got forced across, actually.
He was, yes, he was.
That's why. So it wasn't entirely of his own doing that. And then Fabian Tuna was the complete innocent victim in all that, as the Gerhard car speared out of control and ran into the back of that man, number 2, Fabian Tuna. So it's going to be at least another lap behind the safety car. Alex Riberas leading after a pretty gritty defence into turn 2 from Earl Bamber, the championship leader. Michael Ammermuller third. Nicky Tim, yesterday's winner, fourth. Philippe Enger initially got up to 4th place through turn 1, but then lost it again up at turn 2. So Philippe has remained 5th. And then in 6th position, Christian Engelhardt. 7th, Sven Muller. He's made a couple of places up. 8th place for Robert Renauer. He's gone back because he started on the 2nd row of the grid. So Robert Renauer, number 21, down to 8th. And then it's Conor de Filippi in 9th. And Norbert Seidler into 10th place. That's the top 10 as they stand.
Safety car is going to come in this lap. Still a good bit of the lap to do, but the safety car will come in at the end of it. So we will be back to the 19-lap race 2 for the Porsche Carrera Cup here at the Red Bull Ring, Spielberg in Austria. Safety car came out on the opening lap of the race. Riberas, Bamber, Ammermuller, Team Engelhardt, Muller, Renauer and de Filippi, with Seidler rounding out the top 10 as they stand behind the safety car. And now this is where Alex Riberas is going to need to sort of back them all up, isn't he, and get a bit of a flyer if he can to, no doubt about it, Earl Bamber is going to want to be trying to pass Riberas early on.
Looks like Rolf Finishens leading the B class from Bill Barazetti and Wolf Nathan off bottom 4th in the category. Again, Rolf Finishens well clear. He's in 22nd position.
Yes.
Got a bit of a buffer, a few A-class cars between him and his competitors. Well, just trying to keep the heat up in the tyres there. As you say, Alex Riberas will bat them all off, and then he'll, I'm sure, floor it as he goes into the final turn to try and build a gap. And, of course, they can't go until he goes.
So the green flag is waving from the rostrum as they round the last turn. And the race is back on again. It's Porsche Carrera Cup here at the Red Bull Ring. And Riberas, Bamber, Amamula, Tim as they cross the line.
Clean start by the looks of things, so a little bit easier than it was on the initial start. And they're all in single file formation. And judged beautifully that by Alex Riberas. And he's actually got a nice cushion here as he climbs up the hill towards the second corner at Remus.
Amamula is looking quite lively in P3. Also looking pretty lively was Christian Engelhardt there. A great shot of the Conrad Motorsport car as you can see just from that camera angle how uphill that part is. So Riberas then, as you say, with a nice little cushion now over Earl Bamber, who is P2.
Just about to see Lucas Schreier picking up Jim Pla for 14th place going into Reich corner, into the first of the double left-handers then through Pirelli and then downhill, quite steeply downhill. Doesn't really look it on the camera, but it is a steep decline that into the Worth curve.
Nicky Team on the back of Michael Amamula then. See if he can make any progress and try and get past the bespectacled Michael Amamula. There's our race leader, Alex Riberas. P2 is Bamber, and the battle that I was mentioning just a moment ago. Nicky Tim really is right on the back of Michael Amamula. As they round the final turn, he gets along the inside. They both run out wide, and that is just playing into the hands of Philipp Enger, isn't it?
Yeah, Philipp Enger in the yellow machine. He's going to come through here and pick up 2 places in the Deutsche Post Project 1 car. So from 5th to 3rd he goes. Amamula might be passed by Christian Engelhardt as well, I think. No, not quite. So Amamula fends off at least Christian Engelhardt. Nicky Tim has lost 2 places as a result of that, now going for the position. So he is now in 6th place now. As Sven Muller in the yellow and red Project 1 car. He's having to fend everybody off now. They're all picking up his toe. Look at this. Almost 4 or 5 abreast as they go into the corner. Now up the inside. That's Conor De Filippi going way out wide there. The Californian loses a place or 2. So terrific scrap there. And it was all about the fact that they were just getting a toe from Sven Muller. And he's still under attack here as they go towards the right-hander at Reich. Robert Renauer surely is going to get through here. Muller will have to relent. De Filippi's going to get a place back as well at the inside by the looks of things in the number 9 car.
Absolutely extraordinary, isn't it? As the uphill section, as you say, they get the toe and it's heavy braking, but of course they're going uphill. But the uphill section is 2 parts at that corner as well, because you need to carry momentum through there, don't you? But the big beneficiary in the move by Nicky Team on Michael Amamula was Philipp Enger, who'll be wanting really to right the wrongs of yesterday.
And this,
Sven Muller got touched, didn't he?
You see that from the other angle. Did well, and he got another nudge then on the way out of the corner from Robert Renauer. Oh, they did very well not to run into each other completely there, didn't they? It looked like going to thud into the back of Engelhardt for a time. Avoiding action there was Conor De Filippi. He won't want to do that too often because he'll be told off for exceeding track limits. Then another nudge here between Amamula and Tim. That was the initial one, wasn't it? Coming out of the last turn.
And this is where Eng was just thought, brilliant. This is playing right into my hands. Ta-da, everyone.
A bit of a touring car type move from Nicky Tim, that, wasn't it?
Another one being told off is Ronald van der Laar. We saw him in the pits just a few moments ago, and he exceeded the pit lane limit.
What contact here?
Forge drivers getting very much together there, weren't they?
That was Lucas into the side of De Filippi. It's the best opportunity to overtake on the lap, though, isn't it? So that's what they're all trying their luck, knowing that if they don't get through, they're going to have to wait another lap probably to have another good chance. Look at this scrap. Jim Pla in the yellow car in the thick of it here.
You said that yesterday. Jim Pla is always involved, isn't he?
Lucas Schreier having a great scrap with Lucas Schreier in the green and black car there. They've been together. They swapped places a couple of times. Lucas Schreier just nosing back in front in that little battle just outside the top 10. And 14th and 15th positions.
So Riberas, Bamber, then it's Enger. And that was Bosch just...
Over the curves, wasn't he, Lucas? And just understeered into the side of his teammate.
Sorry, chap.
Norbert Seidler sort of made the gap, and Lucas thought, well, I'll have a bit of that then, but he was a bit ambitious, I think, to say the least.
Yes, I think you're right. So Riberas, Bamber, Enger, then it is Ammermuller, Engelhardt, Renau, Nicky Tim back down to P8 now.
Fabian Tuna back in the race, running wide, trying to make his way back up the order. I think it is the number 2 car, the blue and dark blue and yellow car. Here they go again. Look, the black green striped car of Schreier about to be repassed here by Jim Clark. Ronald van der Laars just coming to serve his drive-through penalty. There he is. So a bit of a miserable race, I'm afraid, for the Dutchman. Back out he'll go with a lot of work to do now from the back of the field. Yes. And he's got to catch the pack up first of all before he even thinks about overtaking anybody.
Now Riberas and Bamber have pulled away from Enger, haven't they? And Enger seemingly not able to get on terms with them at the moment. Last time round Enger did a 1:33.8, whereas it's 1:33.6 and 1:33.3 for the top 2 at the moment. Nicky Tim mired back down there now in P8. There's the Jim Clark car that we were talking about just a couple of moments ago, with Pieter Schothurst. Ola Nielsen, former VW Sirocco R Cup champion, of course, into the Porsche Carrera Cup for Deutschland this year.
Bamber's much closer now, isn't he? He pulled 3 tenths on the previous lap, so he's got the gap down. It was nearly a second at one point, but it's just a couple of tenths now. And he's close enough to pick up a toe here. I'm not sure he's close enough to launch an attack. Well, maybe he is, actually, as they go steeply uphill. Just has a little glance around the outside here, but Alex Riberas leaves the car plumb in the middle of the track, right in the racing line, and doesn't get too concerned yet.
But now into turn 3, if Bamber can keep right on the gearbox, there's just a chance that he can pull out as, well, rough bone.
Oh dear, yeah.
Whether he was on his own with that little incident.
Doesn't look like it, does it? This is for position as well. Oh dear, in the B class.
To be fair to Wolf Nathan, it looked like Bone just drove across the front of him, didn't it?
They were battling for 3rd in class. Nathan's got delayed there and loses his place himself. Look, little tap of the barriers there in the nose of the car, but not too much damage for Ralph Bon. It's the battle for the lead. Riberas under pretty much serious pressure now from Earl Bamber, the points leader.
Not quite close enough to dive up the inside there, was he? But maybe he will through the last turn in a Nicky Tim-like move. No, not close enough to be able to do it. So Riberas is holding off the challenge and the charge for the moment. Last time around there was 4 tenths between them. That's been reduced now to 2 tenths, and we can see that, can't we?
Yeah, even closer when they get to turn 1 at Castrol Edge. Through they go then, the right-hander, and they begin this huge climb uphill now. Earl Bamber, the New Zealander. That's his Porsche Carrera Cup Asia champion, formerly Formula BMW single-seater champion in Asia. And the New Zealander right onto the tail now of the man from Barcelona as they go again up to turn 2 at Remus. But again, Riberas holds the right line there, and there's no opportunity for Bamber to get through.
So Earl Bamber sticking with the outside here now. If he can just get alongside Riberas, and, well, going into turn number 3, Riberas is going to have the right line through turn 3, but if Bamber could just stay alongside, he'd have it for turn 4, but Riberas carrying much too much speed through there.
Yeah, it's too tight a turn, I think, isn't it, to hang it around the outside there. He's clearly the quicker of the 2 at the moment, but Alex Riberas would very much like to hang on to this and get his first win of the season. The man who's always in the mix, always there, all thereabouts, in the top 10 in the championship. He's had 1 second place finish this year at Oschersleben, but looking for his first win. There is 3rd, Philipp Enger. Michael Ammermuller in 4th, Christian Engelhardt in the turquoise and white car in 5th place. Earl Bamber really having a go here, and with his other commitments in the Asia Championship, you were saying yesterday, Dave, that Earl might not be able to do too many more rounds in this championship, but if he goes away from this weekend as the points leader, he might have to rethink this.
I think yes, absolutely. Look at them, absolutely virtually welded together as they go into turn 1. Bamber around the outside, and Riberas runs him out onto the runoff area. Bamber really is getting quite frustrated now, stuck behind Alex Riberas. It's a long straight now up to turn number 2, the Remus turn. There's the kink that they have to go through. Now it's the uphill section. Earl Bamber once again around the outside, but Riberas has got the better line. But and he runs Bamber out wide again. Bamber having to use opposite lock to control it. He really is doing everything he can to get past Alex Riberas, but everything is being thwarted by some great defensive driving from Alex Riberas.
Yeah, for the first time, because this battle has started to become engrossed in it now, then the next pack has started to just catch them a little bit. Last lap, they were about 2/10 quicker, so Philippe Eng leading the pack from 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. A little bit closer to these two. They're not there yet, but if this battle keeps raging on, they could be joining in the party before the end of the race. Alex Riberas, in his first season of the championship, ex-Formula Renault racer, doing a good job here to fend off Earl Bamber. And a couple of times, Dave, Earl's got his nose in front, but Alex hasn't panicked. He's known that he's had the racing line, and he's just kept cool.
Doubtless at some point we'll get a shot on the pit perch of the team boss from Attempto Racing, Arkin Acker, the famous Turkishman who certainly wears his heart on his sleeve on the pit perch, and we'll see, I'm sure, just how excited he is to see his young Alex Riberas leading this race and fending off the clutches and charges of Earl Bamber to the best of his ability. 4/10 last time around. Bamber's charge has just gone away momentarily. I suspect it will reignite now as they head up once again towards the Remus turn. Again, Bamber looks to the outside, doesn't he? But this time, I wonder if he'll try and switch back if Riberas runs wide. He's not close enough to be able to do it.
Bamber's got to keep the pressure up, though, because the more pressure he puts onto the race leader, the more chance the race leader will have of making a mistake, just out breaking himself a bit. He knows he can't brake too early, otherwise Bamber will be past him. But if he brakes a fraction too late and scrubs off too much speed through the corner, then the Kiwi will get him on the way out of the turn. So it's a difficult balance, this, as into the pits comes Felix Wimmer, number 24. So that's one of the Team 75 Bernhard cars into the pits with dramas, as the leaders now make their way through Pirelli and down towards Werthkurve.
So a real roller coaster, this circuit, in this very fast downhill section where Riberas at the moment has got the measure of Earl Bamber behind him, but Bamber is so keen to try and find a way past the Attempto Racing car ahead of him. But at the moment, Riberas doing a great job in terms of defence. And a point that you made a lap or so ago is absolutely right, and that is that this is playing into the hands of Enger, Ammermuller and Engelhardt, who are now beginning just to close them in a little bit.
Well, yeah, Enger and Ammermuller were the best part of a second quicker on the previous lap. Yeah, that is why Clement Schmidt's come into the pits.
Yeah.
A loose rear wheel or damaged suspension on the car, so that I'm sure will be him completely out of the race. So the gap from second to third is just a couple of seconds now. Philippe Enger did a 1:33.7 and he was 2/10 quicker than Bamber on that lap again. That's the Clement Schmidt car hobbling around. In fact, that's after it made its pit stop. I thought it was a replay before it came into the pits, but that's after the pit stop. And that's Sven Muller in the background who's run out wide there. So he's now dropped down to, was it 9th position, Sven Muller. He's dropped behind Norbert Siedler.
Now, whilst we've been away, Bamber has got past Riberas.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll get a replay of that. We didn't see it live, but at some point on that... here we go. And it's... Oh, well, there was a mistake there, wasn't there, from Riberas?
Yeah, there you
Just
go.
twitched the front end, didn't he, under braking, and that was all that Earl Bamber needed.
And it was actually the one time where Earl Bamber wasn't fully
you're
alongside him, wasn't
You're right.
it? And he wasn't even that close. Yeah, just made a slight error under braking. And all the pressure finally paid off, although ironically, as I say, it was on the lap when Bamber wasn't either right behind him or right alongside him going into turn 2.
Well, I think now Bamber will begin to pull away because certainly has been quicker, hasn't he, than Riberas. And Philippe Eng will now think that Alex Riberas is right in the middle of his target sights now. He's some 1.7 seconds behind him last time around, so we'll see what Eng can do from P3 at the moment, whether he can get on terms and try and pass the Alex Riberas car. Bamber is already 4/10 between him.
It's another new Porsche newcomer, Antti Burri, ex-Finnish and British Formula 4 champion. He's into 13th place, which is his best run of the season so far. Didn't do too much racing last year. A little bit of Supercars racing in an Audi, but he's picked 1 point up only so far this season, with the 15th place finish. And that came in the middle of the year at Oschersleben, but he's going pretty well. In 13th position, Antti Berry, the Finnish driver.
So Eng, Ammermuller and Christian Engelhardt, that's the P3, P4 and P5 trio that you're seeing there. And well, to be fair, Bamber hasn't pulled away from Riberas quite as I expected him to.
No, given the way he was breathing down his neck for 4 or 5 laps, I think he'd have just rocketed away, wouldn't he? But maybe quite a bit of that was the fact that he'd been able to pick up a toe. Now, because Riberas gets that benefit. And here we go. Look at this battle here. Muller and De Filippi. Muller was having none of that, was he? Sven Muller comes into this race off the back of 3 consecutive podiums, but today's race hasn't gone quite so well for him. He's down there in 9th place. De Filippi, the number 9 car, also struggling a bit, isn't he, in 10th place, because these are 2 drivers who are learning all the circuits in these cars. Muller's raced here before in Formula 3, but a very different kettle of fish, that.
So there is that kink then, heading up towards the Remus turn. Heavy braking, isn't it? And then there's almost like a second section to that. So I think that was Nicky Tim that ran really, really wide there.
Yeah, he's struggling, isn't he, after his early attempt when he was going to the podium. Norbert Siedler gets past him as a result of that. So that's down to 8th place now for yesterday's winner, Nicky Tim. He's going to try and fight back on the way into the right corner, but he's not going to do it there, surely. So Nicky Tim struggling a bit in this race. I mean, had a very good start, very lively for the first couple of laps, just doesn't seem to have the pace at the moment, for whatever reason. So Siedler gets past and gains a place.
Alex Riberas has been given the black and white flag for failing to manage the track limits. Now, we didn't see perhaps as many warnings yesterday as we thought we might, and to the best of my knowledge, there was only 1 or 2 penalties, wasn't there, following track limits excursions, but there you can see confirmation of that black and white flag being issued to Riberas and his chase to try and get back at Earl Bamber. I think Earl Bamber really has got the measure of him now. We complete lap 13 of 19 here at the Red Bull Ring. Philipp Eng there in P3, the yellow Deutsche Post colours from Project One Motorsport. And it's back to Sven Muller before we see the livery again. Sven Muller is P9. So the order is Bamber, Riberas, Enger, Ammermuller, Christian Engelhardt, then Renaud, Siedler, Team Muller, and Conor De Filippi rounding out the top 10. And they're the leader of the B category. The Conrad Motorsport colours of Rolf Innershin, who's had such a brilliant time of it in the B Championship. Gets past Mike Hulder there, fairly comfortably, to be honest. And Rolf Innershin really, well, is mixing it with a number of the A drivers as well. The 2 categories across the Porsche Carrera Cup. The A category, which is by far and away the most populated for 2014, and then the B category of drivers as well. There's our race leader, Earl Bamber, Alex Riberas, P2, Eng, then Ammermuller, Engelhardt, Renaud, then it's Siedler and Nicky Thiem, Sven Muller and Conor De Filippi. The top 10 through on camera for you. Robert Lucas and Antti Berry, another one of the Temto Racing drivers.
Yep, having his best run so far, as I say. So Earl Bamber is going to take the maximum 20 points here, it seems, if he continues to lead the race. Because his nearest rival coming into this in the points was Christopher Zöchling, who went out of the race very early on. So, by my reckoning, Engelhardt will move up, if he stays where he is, into 2nd place in the championship. And the New Zealander will have a 19-point lead.
Just wonder if, as we look at Wolf Nathan, so in the B category, just wonder whether the conclusion of this race, if it stays the way it is, whether Earl Bamber will have a rethink on his commitments.
I think he'd have to seriously think about it, wouldn't he? Bearing in mind the top 4 came into this weekend with just 4 points between all 4 of them.
So close, isn't it?
For him to walk away this weekend with a 19-point advantage, it's been a seriously good weekend. It's gone well for him, obviously, but people are in and around him in the championship have had their problems. Not least that man, of course, Philipp Eng, with the exclusion yesterday. having taken the flag. Anything that would have really cheered him up today would be a win. As we see Conor De Filippi, number 9, finally getting past Sven Muller here. And that is for 9th position. And you've got Jeffrey Schmidt right behind them as well. And the black, white and red car trying to find a way through. But Muller closes the door just in time.
So Jeffrey Schmidt then on the back of the number 14 car of Sven Muller, and Muller once again having to be quite defensive and just check off any attempts to lose yet another place as the leaders come across the timing line, and yet another warning for exceeding track limits, this time to Jim Pla in car number 33. Schotthurst having a go there. So Schotthurst and Niklas Kentenisch.
Gets him on the way into the corner.
Oh, they're so close there. Kentenisch is going to be on the grass, and he's at an incredible rate of knots. If Kentenisch can't control this, that could have gone so horribly wrong.
Just about got away with that, and he almost sideswiped Fabian Tuna, who was the one, of course, who got thudded off at the first corner. That would have taken the biscuit, wouldn't it? Did well to control that, didn't he? He'd already got a bit of bodywork hanging off the right rear corner, and this made it worse. Yeah, just forcing him across there. That was pretty much elbows out. I think he'd be a bit aggrieved at the way he was forced onto the grass there. And look how close he was to collecting the two drivers around him.
Once you're on the grass in one of these, you are a passenger, aren't you? But
it's dry grass, isn't it? Yeah. It's not damp grass. Yeah, he came back in between Sean Johnson. He almost clipped the back of him right in front of Fabian Tuna. And that's why De Filippi, we came midway into that move, didn't we? That's why De Filippi got ahead of Sven Muller, because Muller made a mistake, ran wide coming out of the corner. Turn 2.
Muller trying very hard to get the place back, wasn't he? But it wasn't to be. Once Conor De Filippi had got fully alongside, he was always going to have the line there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't going to let that gift horse in the mouth, was he? On the previous lap, Alex Riberas had set a personal best lap, but the gap's gone back out again by a couple of tenths on this lap. So Bamber, I think you're right, is controlling the pace now. 7/10 of a second he leads by. There they are, Bamber and Riberas. Philipp Enger hanging on to 3rd place from Michael Ammermuller, Christian Engelhardt 5th, and Robert Renauer in 6th place.
Well, it doesn't matter at what stage of the race you're in. There's never a dull moment with the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, that's for sure. Such a big grid of cars. There's always going to be action and incidents. We'll continue right until the checkered flag drops. At the moment, it's Earl Bamber who's 7/10 ahead of Alex Riberas, who looks like he'll be heading for that checkered flag, but it's not over until that waves, of course. So, where are we? Lap 17 of 19. Eng is just once again having to defend from Ammermuller, isn't he? Ammermuller has been there and has kept with Eng for the entire race. Not been able to really mount a particular challenge, but Eng has been kept pretty keen and got a bit ragged then. Yeah,
and that might kill his momentum, and it might just give half a chance to Michael Ammermuller. Flashes his lights to try and put Philipp Enger off. Come on, get out of my way, he says, but Enger's, look, actually fairly comfortable by the time he gets to the corner. For that move, Peter Schotthurst has been given a drive-through penalty. So the number 1 car, Peter Schotthurst, has got a drive-through penalty for forcing Niklas Kentenisch off the road.
I think that's pretty fair, don't you?
Yes.
I think he gave him a lot of room, did he? In fact, no room. Jochen Haberts and Rolf Inischen there. Rolf Inischen in the Comrade Motorsport car number 29. Here's our race leader, Earl Bamber. Alex Riberas then. Well, were it not for his mistake, would Earl Bamber be in the lead? Difficult one to call that. Earl Bamber was trying very hard to get past him for lap after lap after lap, but he hadn't managed it. And to be fair, he hasn't pulled away from Riberas quite at the rate of knots that I thought he would. We're on the final lap. Is Ammermuller going to have a last lunge at Philipp Eng to try and take the final podium place? Well, we will see. There's the race leader. There is P2, P3, just in the background of the picture. There is Jim Pla, always in the mix, sadly in the pit lane now. So Eng, who's been defending furiously over the last couple of laps from a rejuvenated Michael Ammermuller, who's up the ante with regards to challenging, is still defending. There is Earl Bamber then. Just a couple of corners to do for Earl Bamber, and he'll be heading to the checkered flag. And what a points haul Earl Bamber takes out of this weekend, as he does take victory in race 2 in the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland, with Alex Riberas taking P2. Philipp Enger at last is on the podium to take P3. Then it's Ammermuller, Engelhardt, Renauer, Seidler. Nicky Thiem should cross the line P8. He does. And then it's De Filippi and Muller rounding out the top 10.
It's going to be Rolf Inischen, number 29, the Swiss driver, who's going to take his 8th Class B victory of the year. And might gain a place on the track. Pass Jochen Habits.
He does.
As the line, he does, yeah. Just noses him drag race to the flag. He pips up to 23rd place overall. So good drive that, again by Rolf Inischen. His very highest overall finish has been a 13th place, so he has been up there before mixing it. Will Barassetti is also going to be on the podium. There is the winner for the second time this season, extending his championship lead, Earl Bamber.